on what's this week's Devil in the Detail podcast. I'm Rob Parkinson, and we're here talking all things Salford Red Devils. Join the show this week after a few weeks off, keeping Britain warm. We've got Paul, Red-Nosed Reindeer Whiteside. How's your Christmas festive period going, Paul?
It's not really yet, mate. I don't finish work till Friday, but I'm doing all right. Yeah, doing okay. Got a few days off then. Got Christmas Day off, Boxing Day, 27th, back in on the 28th. So all good. Yeah, doing okay. I've missed you too, so be good to speak to you both again.
Yeah, we missed you last week, but we're glad that you've took half an hour off keeping Britain warm to come and talk all Salford Red Devils with us.
Yeah, I need to keep myself warm, don't I? Yeah. No, looking forward to it, lads. Looking forward to it.
Yep. Also joining us, it's not Santa, it's Paul Parkin. How's your Christmas festive period going, Parky? Are all the presents bought?
Nearly there. I better take this off, Anna. No one's going to hear me. Nearly there. A couple of bits to get, but we're not far off now. I'm getting into the mood. Bit of a strange one this year, no alcohol, but yeah, it's. I've had the music on today. I've got myself a bit hyped up, as you can probably tell. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I love Christmas. I think it's great. Yeah, so I just thought, I'll get myself a part-time job.
Yeah, I had a line of kids setting up then when you came on. Now you've discarded the beard. They've all gone now. They know. Gutted.
Yeah, it's to be honest, the actual real beard looked a bit like this last week. So yeah, it needed a trim.
Yeah. So there's loads big news coming out of the club about the stadium situation. Before that, we're going to play a game. We're going to play your squad right. So I've got two lists. I've got 5 on each list. So who wants to go first? You, Parky, or Paul? Let you decide between you.
Don't mind.
Parky?
I'll let Paul go first because I've played the last couple of weeks.
Okay then. So Paul Whiteside will go first. Play your squad right. You know the rules, Paul?
Yeah, I've done it. I think I did it a few weeks ago, didn't I?
You did. Parky didn't do quite well last on the last podcast. We're hoping for better this time. Parky, you've been training hard.
Yeah, I'd love to say yeah, but it'd be like lying about doing my homework. No, I haven't. It's all right. It's all up here somewhere. I'll dig it out.
Okay, so there's your challenge on this festive podcast, Paul, to beat Parker. So we're going to start with yourself. We're going to start with Chris Bryning, 2017. His number was number 20. Okay, right. So the second number is Craig Stapleton, 2009. So was his number higher or lower than Chris Bryning?
I thought Craig Stapleton was like the top prop, so I would have thought he was like 8 or 10 or something like that. So I'm going to go lower.
Correct. 10 was his number.
Yeah, I thought he was. He was a good player, then.
He was. Very good player. So the next player on Play Your Squad Right is 2007 Gareth Haggerty. So was his number higher or lower than 10?
Oh, I thought Haggerty was about 17, something like that, 19, or I'm going to go higher than 10.
He's right. That's 2 for Paul. The next one.
What number was he, Haggerty?
17.
Hey, that was a good guess,
wasn't it? On. Yeah, correct. So the next number is Sean Gleeson, 2011. Was his number higher or lower than 17? Don't forget, you do have a switcheroo.
Oh. Gleeson, 2011 Gleeson.
Yeah. Sean Gleeson.
I thought it was in the 20s, and then he stayed, and I think his number dropped then, and he got like a 3 or a 4. I'm going to go higher.
Higher than 17?
Yeah.
Sean Gleeson's number in 2011 was 20.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah. Then the season after, did it drop then? Was he like number 3 then or something the season? Because he was a good player, wasn't he?
He was a good player, I thought, for us. So the final number is, I've got Adam Warren, 2016. So was his number higher or lower than 20?
Adam Warren. 2006. I'm going to go higher.
Is that your final answer?
Judging by your face, there, I better change my mind.
No,
I'm gonna stay higher. I
Higher.
have no idea, to be honest, but I'll go
Okay.
higher.
So Adam Warren's number in 2016 was 15.
Oh no, was it?
So-
I didn't really. I didn't have a clue.
So 3 for Paul. Parky, how's your nerves?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, not too bad. I knew most of them. Only the last one that would trip me up then. The only thing is I can't see you, Rob. I've got no vision of you at the moment. So
Just keep talking. I can see you.
if there's no hints coming from your face, I might struggle here.
Just start tapping the microphone.
Yeah. Right, yeah, let's do this. Let's do it.
Okay. So we'll start with Matt Flanagan, 2017. His number was number 13. Next one is Ryan Boyle, 2011. So was his number higher or lower than 13?
2013.
Oh, sorry, 2011. Sorry, Ryan Boyle. Number 13 is Matt Flanagan.
I'll say Ryan was higher.
Higher than 13?
Yeah.
That's correct. It was number 19, Ryan Boyle, in 2011. So the next player is Graviani, 2007. So was his number higher or lower than 19?
Yeah.
Trying to put him out.
Do you want to switcheroo?
I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna Greg. Now, you see, the thing is, it could. Oh God, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It was.
Gray. I'm gonna say he was lower.
Lower than 19.
Lower than 19.
Okay. So Graviani's number 2007 was 15. So it was lower.
Woo.
So
Got sweats on it, yeah.
Next number is Paul White, 2009. Was his number higher or lower than 15?
Now, I don't think he played much in 2009, did he? 2008 was the championship season, Division 2, or whatever it was. And he was magic because he scored about 7,000 tries. But did he?
You've got to switch your room, don't forget.
Paul White. What year was that, sorry?
2009. I hope listeners are screaming at the radio now. Because they know Parky.
I'm going to say lower.
His number in 2009 was number 5.
Yeah.
So for the win, Parky, Jake Bibby, 2016. Was his number higher or lower than 5?
Yeah, it's got to be higher, hasn't it? Surely. Got to be higher.
Number 25. Parky takes the points. Paul.
Oh dear. Is it like Question of Sport when I get another go at him next week?
Literally a Christmas miracle.
Brilliant. So I hope our listeners enjoyed that tense affair. First time you've both played off against each other, which is really good.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
That's that extra bit of drama to the podcast.
Worn out now.
Knackered. So now we've had this bit of drama, let's talk about all the big news come out in the club and the drama there. So we'll start with the big news that Salford City FC and Sale's bid to buy the AJ Bell Stadium has been turned down. Parky, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. Judged by my face. it's, I'd love to say it's clearly good news for us. It doesn't really say anything. It doesn't mean anything to us. You know, we still, nothing's been confirmed, but it edges us closer to safety in many ways, as in safety of staying at the stadium. I think I said last week that it's time that, you know, we settled down now, isn't it? Moving on wouldn't do us any favours. I was reading today about the council saying that nobody met their expectations or something about who was going to buy it. So I'm a little bit, I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Seb Gerrard there, whether he is going to be part of it. It's a tough one, really, isn't it? It's hard to know where we stand. The one good thing is that it hasn't been given to anybody else. We know that now, as in another sporting organisation. So it's hopeful, isn't it? It's a good sign. But we just need to sort of hang on now, and I don't think we'll hear anything till the new year.
Yeah, all three clubs have put out statements. Paul, in the Salford City FC statement, they tell us that the council plan to buy the whole stadium. Like Paul said, no comment from Seb Gerrard at the moment, and his involvement or not involvement in this. What's your thoughts on
it? Well, regarding that, Mr. Gerrard, I don't really know, because I don't really know enough about him. I don't know him personally, so don't know what his plans are. But my sort of take on it was, it's not bad news, you know, that for us. It doesn't really affect us much at the moment, but it's not like it could have been worse for us. Say the stadium got sold to Sale or whatever, then we become sort of their puppet, if you like, and we're playing to their tune, then, aren't we, a bit? Whereas now it's still sort of out in the open, and it looks like the council. I mean, from where I'm sat, I think the council want that stadium to remain as a benefit for the community. And we're a community club now and doing a lot of good things in the community, you know, with the teams that we've got and the involvement of people that we've got from every walk of life. You've only got to look at the teams we've got now. We're getting a wheelchair team, disability team, you know, ladies team. You know, we've got it all there now. So I think that for the council, you know, is looking better. So it's a good thing for me. But it could have been worse. We could have been saying, "Oh, blimey, Sale have got the stadium now," or whatever. What we going to do? But you know, it's not bad news. So we'll have to just wait and see how it develops, and see how what develops with that Mr. Gerrard, the Gerrard's a Swinton guy, and just see if he can come in. But I don't know, you know, a lot about the politics of what it all goes on. I don't. But I read the story the other day, and I thought, well, as I've said it about 4 times now, it's not bad news. It seems like there's a chink of light there, if you like, for want of a better word.
I think me, Parky, with the council, a bit of asset protection. Because obviously with the way the world is at the moment, and obviously a recession coming down the line, maybe early next year, it's important their assets are sort of kept and not sort of flogged at the earliest opportunity to raise some money. So I think for them to keep the stadium is an important thing moving forward for now.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I see when they came out with a statement that they were basically buying the stadium, I was a little bit surprised at that. I don't know if that's come out right, because I can't imagine, you know, I'm one of them, but I can't imagine too many people, council taxpayers of Salford, thinking that's a wise idea, that the council pumping millions to buy another half of the stadium, that, you know, that money could be used elsewhere. So I'm a little bit, I don't really understand how it's come about like this, where there is more to it than you know, we're being told, if you like. The one thing that we need is we need guarantees about our future and our place in that stadium, and the fact that we need to be able to make money while we're there. I said it last week, you know, we need to be able to get our own revenue from the stadium. There's no point us being tenants for Salford Council or being tenants for Sale or Salford City. It wouldn't make a difference in that way if we can't make any money off it. It doesn't matter really. as long as we can sort of control our own destiny. But yeah. I mean, it's obviously a step forward. The council, like you say, are looking after their own assets. I mean, it does. The stadium does, I believe, make money throughout the year. So the council will make revenue from it, which is great as a taxpayer. It's what we want. But it was built for Salford. It was built as a community stadium. I think the council have kind of realised that and thought that's really what it's. If they sell that community aspect is completely gone. It's a private issue then between either Sale or Salford City or whoever owned it. So yeah, there's steps forward, aren't they? They are promising, and we can only hope that that some agreement can be made where obviously we'll still have to pay rent, but maybe it's not the dramatic rise that we were going to be expecting if somebody else had taken over the stadium. And then they let us have match day revenue through that. So yeah, things are looking up a little bit. That's all we can say.
Yeah, positive statement from the club. Described the fact they were in dialogue to try and secure the fine long-term tenure at the stadium. Paul, like Parky said, increasing the match day revenue will be important, and keeping our club going long term is a key to that. I think it's a very good holding statement. I think it calms everybody down, because obviously we weren't sure what was going to happen when the bid from Sale and Salford City was rejected. Salford come in and calm the waters for me. So I think it's a good statement to make. So we just have to sit back now and see what happens.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and just on that as well, I think it'd be nice if the public of Salford really got behind the club now. And we hear people saying, "Oh, we want the club. The city won't be much without the club." But you've got to do something about it. If you want a rugby league team in the city, go and support them, because it's not as if they're like Mickey Mouse anymore. They've done well the last couple of seasons and played some really entertaining rugby. And if you want your team to be there, get down there and watch them. So that's what I'd be saying. It's not. Surely we can get crowds of 5,000 or 6,000 next season. It's doable, it's achievable. So I'm sure Paul King can agree. If we can do that, it just might take a bit of pressure off him as well. But just going back to the football team, I mean, I'm not an expert on football, but perhaps the owners of Salford City have looked at it and thought, is the legs in this? How long are they going to keep going ploughing money into that football club? Because they're not getting massive crowds where they are now. And I think perhaps they thought they were going to rise through the leagues a bit quicker than what they were going to do. And they haven't done. So perhaps the sort of momentum has fell away there a bit. And that's why they're not itching to move to the AJ Bell. So for me, I mean, personally, I heard a lot of stuff about that Moor Lane saying, we can make it into a Willows and stuff like that. And I looked at that and I thought, yeah. And then when they decided about all this stuff, this IMG or whatever they call it, now you look at it and you think, if we were to drop out the AJ Bell and go there, would that be us on a bit of a downward spiral, really? Would the Super League say, well, that Moor Lane's not good enough, really, for Super League? Because they could do, if it only holds 5,000 or 6,000. So that could be the end of us at the top table. And just when we start to make a bit of momentum and get into playoffs and get into grand finals and that, and we've got some quality players, we're getting a really good side, really exciting. We don't want the rug to be pulled from underneath us now, do you? So I know I'm waffling on a bit here, but I just sort of talk in riddles sometimes. But I'm just trying to make sense of it, really. But no, I thought it was quite positive, that story, and let's hope it it works out for us.
Yeah, Parky, you're our resident Salford City FC fan. Your thoughts on what the club have said there? They did say they were still monitoring the situation, and they think their future at the moment lies at the Peninsula Stadium.
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I mean, I've not been to Salford City this year. I went a couple of times last season. I've kind of lapsed massively with it. But I know last night they had a game. Was it last night, the night before, in one of the cup competitions? And I think 700 odd people turned up, and 300 and something of them were away fans. So I'm kind of wondering, like Paul said there, as sort of Gary Neville and the ownership of Salford City also looked at it and thought, we don't, the council may have made, said, or whoever's selling the stadium, this is what we want for it. And they've looked at it and thought, we're never going to make that money. You know, that's going to be dead money. It's probably best if we don't and maybe withdrew the bid or put in a lower bid than the council would have accepted anyway, and sort of just keep to their own. And maybe, you know, in the future, I mean, I wish Salford City all the best. I want Salford City to do as well as anyone. But I think it's going to have to be small steps for him. And I think moving to the AJ Bell already would have been, you know, we struggle. We're 150 years of professional sport, and we struggle at times to get, you know, 4,000 in there. Salford City's average gate is what, 2.5 maximum, something like that. I don't think it'd work for them at the moment. So, you know, I wish them well, and hopefully one day we you know, ourselves, Salford City and Swinton could all play there, you know, and then make it a proper community stadium for the city. But as it stands, that doesn't look likely now, and Salford City may look, you know, in a different direction. And or like Paul said, you know, maybe they might cool on the idea, and you don't know. Maybe they're sort of their plaything could be over. But we'll see. We'll see. We don't know. Anything could happen. You know, we could all end up there. We could end up with 5 or 6 teams playing at the same time. It's anything can happen at the moment. But I think for Salford City, it's wise that they stay put. They've got a ground. They don't owe anything. It's theirs, and they make money every week. So, you know, why would you change that?
Yeah, Sale's statement was interesting. Paul, they still declared they still want to play at the AJ Bell. They want access to more match day revenue streams to help fund their club. They also spoke about the stadium being sort of critical to their long-term sort of strategy as a club. So it wouldn't make much business sense to get rid of them, because obviously they are a club that generates money. So just to have us in the stadium would be a step backward, in my opinion. But I think obviously both clubs would obviously need to have a better sort of working relationship, because I always sort of talk about the Sale and Salford being like the Cold War. We're all kind of high-fiving above the table with a lot going on below.
Yeah. I've not got a right lot of time for Sale, to be. I don't really know a lot about them. I know a few people who watched Stockport said they muscled in on their stadium, bit Isley Park, and you know, at the end of the day, that stadium at Salford at Barton was built for us. It was a Salford Community Stadium, and Sale muscled in on that. And yeah, for one reason or another, whatever. But that was our stadium. It's in our city. Sale's not in our city, is it? So, but you know, geography apart, and like you say, I've nothing against them. So if they're going to stay there and play there and fund it, obviously it's probably better for Salford. The more people that are playing there, the more it's going to be funded. We don't get 12,000 every week, so if we did, we could probably turf them out and have it to ourselves, but we can't. I suppose in an ideal world, like Parky said, I wouldn't have a problem with Swinton playing there. Whether they want to play there, I don't know. I don't think half of their supporters would want them to play there, to be honest, with the bitterness they have against us. But I think the more the stadium gets used and the more money it makes, I think the better, really. Just as for Salford City football, like I said there, I hope they do well. You know, good luck to them. But at the moment, it might just be a bit of a step too far for them at the moment, because they're sort of in that league of they're in the football league. It's a tough league to get out of, that one that they're in, and you're probably tied a bit with your crowds, and that probably don't get loads of away support as well, so they're struggling a bit. But we'll have to just see what happens. I mean, we've got Paul King and Bleasy and everybody else at our club who are looking after it, doing a great job. We're playing some good rugby on a pitch, as I said before. I just hopefully our crowds can rise next season. Look how many we took to that semi-final. So, you know, our first home league game will be a good marker, really, if we can get a decent crowd and start building it week on week, and we can look after ourselves and worry about ourselves, really. And, you know, I'm not too worried about Sale. I'm sure they can sort themselves out.
Yeah, I think Parky, I think Salford are in a real strong position. Obviously, you know, the management have took the club, you know, massively forward, and you know they are very good at negotiating by the results that they've got, you know, in the past, which is great. You know, Sale for me, I've nowhere to go, because you know I live in Sale. They had a potential stadium behind TGI Fridays, got turned down. They've got land in Carrington, which is just land, and they've got to build on that if they want to build a stadium there. So it's AJ Bell or bust for me. Hayward Road's too small. Can't go back to Stockport. So you've got options of Blackburn as far as that away, Bolton maybe, but obviously will the Sale fans want to travel that far away from Sale? That's the big question for me, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next few months.
Yeah, I think for Sale as well. I think the numbers coming out of Rugby Union at the moment regarding debt and everything. I think that's a big concern for them, and they obviously see the stadium as a way of making money back. But for me, I think Sale have to stay. I think the flip side is that we play summer, they play winter. I know there's a little bit of crossover, but it's got to be an even working relationship between the two clubs. And I'd like to see the clubs work together, because Sale, obviously, their marketing campaigns, they get some big crowds in and that kind of thing. We could use that. We could use their database. We could the two clubs. It'd be great if they could sort of combine each other's expertise, and it could help going forward. But the other thing I was going to say, and Paul mentioned it there about Paul King and Ian Blease and that kind of thing, and the way the club is now, it feels stable. It feels like it's it's on a good footing, and I think that'll help. I think the council will look at that now and go, look, we don't think they're going to go bumping in the next 6 months, which for the last 10 years could have happened at any point. We seem to have people running the club who know what they're doing. Commercially, we look like we're doing really, not obviously not raking money in, but holding our head above water. The team on the pitch is competing week in, week out. So I think we're in a strong position. I think Salford Council will see that, or anyone who's coming in to buy the stadium, and want us to stay there.
Yeah, and I think it's important, obviously, in the new year when we get around when officially the results are formed about whether the negotiations went well or not, that the club have another meeting like they did in, I think it was this time last year, was it, when they were talking about the options that were available? Because obviously we want to know, obviously the land has changed by the look of it now. The way the land lies now, Parky. So it'll have to be. Obviously, they'll make a decision on what they think's best for the club, which is fantastic. But it would be great to have a bit of dialogue and to find out sort of what's changed to make them think staying at the AJLL, for the next 10 years is different to it was 12 months ago when we were staying there for 2 years and going bust. Parker.
I think a lot of that was the rent, wasn't it? The fact that if maybe Sale or somebody else had come in, our rent was probably going to double. Now we know it's fairly well documented that we struggled to make the payments we're supposed to make in the last few years. But I think we do. We are sort of paying what we owe, sort of thing. But if that rent went up and doubled, or even whatever, we just can't afford that. Now this would flip it, hopefully sort of on its head, and we could have some control over the stadium, over the money we can make, and we can negotiate with whoever it's going to be, the council, about paying the rent, about what rent is achievable. Because the flip side is, if Sale decide, well, we don't want it now, we're moving out, Salford City don't move in, and we can't afford the rent, that's a big white elephant standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
The council do not want that stadium empty. So I think we're in a good position. Like I say, I think because of the way we run as well, I think that'll help us. I just hope that the new year brings us some really good news, and we can get some benefit at last after 11 years from being at that stadium. And once we can start getting money back out of it, that can go back into the squad and into the facilities. And like Paul said before, again, all these community teams we've got, it takes funding. It's got to come from somewhere. So, and then hopefully we can have a massive marketing campaign and more bums on seats, and it all goes round.
Final thoughts on this, Paul?
I think the way the club's been run last few years, and the rugby league that we've played, the distance that we've travelled as a club as well, things we've done on and off the field, the club and the city deserves support. He deserves more support than what it gets. You know, that team now deserves a crowd, deserves that stadium to be jam packed. I'm not saying get 12,000 every week, but we deserve more than what we're getting. So I just hope the public of Salford and the people, you know, who went to that semi-final, come back for next season and really get behind them, because the potential at the club's massive. You know, if we could, you know, look at that Brodie Croft situation. If we can tie players like that down now and attract players to the club and keep players like that, we can compete with anybody. We can compete with St Helens and Leeds and blooming Wigan and that. We showed that last season. We was 80 minutes away from a grand final, and we're doing that on a shoestring budget. So just give us a bit more. You know, we won't be worrying about the stadium because we'll be packing it out. So, yeah, if people can come and watch us, I don't think there'll be a problem. I think the way the club's being run at the moment is superb. It's an exciting time to be a supporter. We're going into a season now thinking, blimey, yeah, we could be top four. You know, so who knows? We could end up getting relegated like we did in 2007. but no, it's. I'm certainly a lot more optimistic than I was sort of 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, like you said there, 12 months in sport, in business is a long time. I think 12 months ago we was worrying, weren't we, about, is this going to be our last season at the AJ Bell? Are we going to get farmed out to Moor Lane? And it was going into the abyss. We didn't know what was going to go on. So 12 months later, it looks a lot more optimistic. And I think that's how things are now. Things just change, and let's hope that it is positive for us. So like I said, I feel quite optimistic now, lads.
Yeah. So let's move on to other news. Parky, our ladies will take part in the Challenge Cup next season. Basically 4 groups of 4 starting on the 23rd of April, then quarter-final, semi-final, and the final at Wembley. Exciting times for the ladies in the club.
Yeah, I missed that. I've not seen that. Wasn't aware. That's
announced by the RFL.
Right, that's brilliant. Yeah, obviously the Challenge Cup, you know, it means a lot to everybody, doesn't it? But I think I mentioned last week as well. We've said it a few times. I think Salford fans have this. I don't know. An obsession with it that we, you know, because we've not been there for so long. It'd be great, you know, for either of our teams to make it that far. A long way to go for the ladies. They've got a big season ahead now with the, you know, with the promotion and everything. But no, yeah, in the Challenge Cup, that's fantastic. It'd be great to see them run out of Wembley, wouldn't it? Wow, you know, we can dream. I mean, they only formed 12 months ago. I think I'm probably jumping the gun a bit there. But no, you know, fantastic. I wasn't aware of that. So that's good news.
Yeah, in Super League 2 next season. Paul, obviously, Challenge Cup will be a you know, massive challenge for them. Obviously, playing sort of a higher level week in, week out. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it will. It's going to be a tough test, but this is the test that, excuse me, that they wanted to test that everybody wants in sport, isn't it? You know, to bet yourselves and go. But I'm sure they're so excited now about the season coming up, and yeah, to be involved in probably, for me, and I know Parky feels the same about this, the most prestigious cup competition in the world, in the Challenge Cup. So that's really exciting. And by the way, the men's team is 16-1 to win the Challenge Cup. So I mean, I was going to have my usual 5 what I normally have, but 16-1, I'm not going to bother. We're normally about 50-1, so they must be getting worried now, the bookies.
Make sure you bet responsibly, Parky, and everyone else listening. I think it's great. Obviously, you know, super excited for the ladies. They've done so much, Parky, and obviously last season, you know, it was a fantastic year, and hopefully they can kick on.
Yeah, very much so. It'd be interesting to see. You know, we don't know anything about, you know, the squad for next year or anything like that. Who's staying, who's going. It's kind of obviously it's a different level, obviously, to what we're dealing with in the you know, the men's team. You can, you know, as soon as a player gets the flu, you hear about it, don't you? But it's yeah. I hope most of the squad stay together. They had a great year, and they seem to. It was that bond that they all had together that really, you know, kind of excited. We saw them on Twitter and things like that, and you know, the sort of the banter and stuff as well. It was a real feel-good factor last year with them. So yeah, it's a big year. So who knows? Go for a League and Cup double this year.
That's it, Park. That's it, Paul. Put money on that.
Might be safer. That, lads. Yeah, definitely.
Let's move on now. Final bit of news. Salford's partnership with Ghana continues. The link up has been a success with obviously us sending equipment over to them. last year, and they're happy to help the partnership grow more. Paul?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a good news story last season, wasn't it? So the more partnerships and link-ups we can get, I think I said this before to you, is it grows the brand of the club, doesn't it? I'm not saying we're going to be like Manchester United or Real Madrid or somebody like that, but it all helps, doesn't it? And all the sort of things we're doing off the field in the community and spreading our name of Salford Rugby League Club is great, I think, and it gets us in the news. It keeps positive things about the club, positive news stories, which is better than what we've had previously, where we're going bust. We've had points deductions, we've had this, that, and the other. I think the way things are going now, it's all good.
Yeah, between the two, Parker, they're going to form a Red Devils tag rugby academy for sort of people in Ghana who obviously getting into rugby league and are able to develop the skills there.
I mean, it's growing massively. It really is. I just noticed today, funnily enough, that they put out some sort of, I think it was a new world rankings or whatever, and Ghana had moved up, considerably, but also I think Nigeria, Cameroon, these African nations, and if we've got this tie-in with Ghana, and hopefully the way I see it is obviously we're helping at the moment to get it off the ground, to get get the country and the domestic game going over there. Is that we'll reap the benefits when these players come through, these athletes. We've just seen the Football World Cup and how far the African nations have come on in football. They're a real threat now. It's and that's the way it can be in rugby league. And what we're doing, we're opening up the world and hopefully bringing in players from all over. Like you say, we've got connections in America, obviously Australia, as we mentioned last week, in Serbia and Ghana, and it's more strings to the bow, the better, because every now and then one gem will come through. A player will come through, and we could be first in line to take that player, give them a trial, and who knows? And that's the way I see it. I think at the moment it seems like it might be a bit, I don't know, what we talk to people is a bit one way, perhaps, that it's us, helping everybody else. But I think you've got to look at the long term of it, and IMG will do this. They'll look at the connections and where's Salford going, what we're looking for, and 5-10 years down the line, who knows where the benefits we could get from this.
Yeah, there is sort of talk of in the statement about players from Ghana taking part in the Rising Star program. I'm not sure whether we're starting a Rising Star campaign in Ghana or whether we're going to bring someone from Ghana into our Rising Star campaign, because that'd be an amazing opportunity for someone in Ghana to be able to come over and train in a Super League's Rising Star campaign, Paul.
Yeah, it certainly would. But if you're good enough and we get you over here and that happens, what an amazing story that would be, and what an amazing opportunity, and puts the club in a fantastic light. We're going to be leading the way, aren't we? So no, I think it's really, really positive for Salford and for rugby league in Ghana as well.
Yeah, talk about opportunities. Parker, there's opportunities for Ghanaian coaches to come over and help coach first team, reserve team, ladies team to gain experience and new training techniques to go back to Ghana and improve their players too. Yeah,
definitely. I think that'll be the key. It was interesting. Obviously, we mentioned Red Star last week again, and the mention there was that it's the coaching, I think, that's going to be the key to it all, to bringing players on, because every player from every country's got the ability, but there's so much out there. It's how we bring it out, and it's how we promote, get these players to a certain level. And I think if their coaches can come over here and work with, get a couple of weeks with Paul Rowley and Kurt Haggerty, and obviously Christian Inu as well now. To work alongside these people, to pick up tips, just to learn a few bits. And then even with the development side of it, the guys who are looking after the other squads, to take that back home to their country and pass that on, that's going to help massively. And I think that's where we can step in So yeah, it'd be nice to get them over here, get a couple of players over here and coaches, and and try and help them out.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what happens with the Ghana partnership and how it grows, and how Ghana Rugby League develops, and also us as well. Be fantastic that. So before we end this festive podcast, we're going to finish with a game. I've named that bench. We've got two competitors, so we're going to have two separate teams. So I'm going to pick your years, because I know you both love the 90s. There's only so many games in the 90s we can go, so I'm going to test your minds. Okay. So Parky, you're going first because Paul went first.
Okay.
Last game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to go Super League 2009. We played Warrington and won 18 points to 16 at the Willows. 6,150 in attendance.
The Easter that?
Friday the 10th of April it was.
Good Friday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Salford's team that day was Johnny Wilshire, Stephen Ratchford, Stuart Littler, Jordan Turner, Dean McGilvery, Jeremy Smith, Richie Myler, Ray Cashmere, Malcolm Alcott, Craig Stapleton, Luke Adamson, Rob Parker, and Luke Swain. Who was on Salford's bench that day?
I'm going to
give you two lives like last time.
I'm going to start with, just because I'm thinking of that era, I'm going to start with Phil Lulawai.
Phil Lulawai was on the bench, correct. That's 1 point for you.
Okay. 2009.
You just Parky this one, I guess.
No, you get a separate one.
Oh, right, okay.
2009. Okay. So we had Jeremy Smith. Not one of the players mentioned earlier. Trying to think, would he have been there then? Was he on the bench?
Played Leeds away on a Monday, didn't we?
2009.
So he basically went three forwards, one back.
Was Haggy on the bench? Kenneth Agatha?
No. No, it wasn't. So
2000
that's one life. 2009. So
wow.
mine are live. You've got. Do you want a clue?
Yeah, go on. Give us one.
One of them is a pundit. Now.
From New Zealand.
Yeah. One of them played for us, played for Castleford. And one of them played for us and Warrington.
I'll say Ryan Boyle.
Wrong.
Oh, God.
So there's you got one, Parker. Just to find out, tell you what the other people on the bench was. Lee Jewett.
Oh, I want to got that.
Ian Sibbett and Robbie Hunter-Paul.
Paul, wasn't it?
Oh, Robbie Paul.
Who's on this one, sorry?
Robbie Paul.
I was gonna say Sibbett, but I wouldn't have got the others.
So you got one. So you got one to beat. Paul, how's your nerves?
I was thinking I thought I couldn't get the other two. I knew Robbie Paul was one of them because he scored at Leeds on the bank holiday Monday, didn't he? We won at Leeds, didn't we? I think he scored a try, didn't he?
I honestly don't even remember it. Don't remember the game at all.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that Easter because we won twice. We beat Warrington and Leeds, didn't we? But I could only get Robbie Paul. I wouldn't have got Sibbett. I forgot about Sibbett, to be honest with you. Because didn't Ian Sibbett play for Warrington, come to Salford, then go back to Warrington?
Yeah, something like that.
He did a lot of travelling about, didn't he?
Disappointing.
So we're going to go 2014.
Bloody hell.
And
all these
Salford
years blend into one. Just we left the Willows.
Salford played Catalan Dragons 15th of August 2014 at the AJ Bell. Salford's team Salford won 34-22. Salford's team that day was Kevin Locke at fullback, Greg Johnson, Junior Sow, Mason Caton Brown, Nia Levels, Rangi Chase, Theo Farge, Adrian Marley, Tommy Lee, Lamy Tazzy, Harrison Hansen, Matty Ashurst, and Jordan Warren. Who was on Salford's bench that day?
2014.
He went, he went three forwards.
You have a hooker on the bench?
Back. Did he have a hook on the bench? Yes.
Gaz Owen, was it?
Was it Gaz Owen? No. So you lost that one. That's one life gone.
2000. I'm trying to think of 2014. Who's playing for them?
Do you want a clue?
Has one of them come back to Salford this season?
No.
No. I'm going to say one of them.
Come back, aren't they?
Do you want a clue?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So, one had a falling out with Marwan. One came back as a fireman. One has a famous brother, I think, in Australia. And the other one came through our academy, I think.
Steve Rapira.
Steve Rapira is one.
Pullatuya.
Tony Pullatuya for the win.
Who was you? There's two more.
Yeah.
2014.
So the ones you've got.
Wasn't that Scott Taylor, was it?
No, wasn't Scott Taylor. The two you missing were
Shannon McPherson.
No.
See there
then. Jason Walton.
Right, yeah.
And Logan Tompkins.
Tompkins, I never would have got. I forgot about Tompkins. He was there a while, Tompkins, wasn't he, when you think about it? He was there for bloody years, wasn't he? Yeah.
So, we're doing a tie break now, aren't we? Because you both won a game. Is that right?
Aren't they, them subs benches?
So, just let me grab the old... let me grab the old Bible.
The yellow Bible?
The yellow Bible. That's the one.
Oh, here we go.
So, let me try and find a fixture.
It goes up to 1991.
Exactly. Yeah, but
showing our age now.
You're both really good at this, aren't you? So let's have a look. Famous people. Okay, so Colin Dixon played for Salford. How many times, Parky?
Wow, that's a good question, isn't it? Should know that, shouldn't I? I should know that. So he signed in 67, did he? Was it 67, 68?
Signed about that, yeah, 68.
68. And he was still playing for us, what? Late 70s, early 80s?
80.
Moved to Salford in December 1968 in a £15,000 package deal, which also included the transfer of winger Mike Kelly to Halifax.
I'll go with...
Is he frozen? No, he's not. I thought he frozen.
No, I'll go with 390.
390. Okay.
It's a lot of games, that, isn't it?
So, Paul, how about you? What's your thought process on this?
I think he played over 400.
Probably did. That's where I was going, but...
I think he played similar to Kuhlman, didn't he? When Kuhlman signed 68, I think, and he stayed till 83. So I think he might have played more. Mind you, they both never got injured, really. They played every week, didn't they, really? I'm going to go about 460 for Gigson.
460.
Yeah.
Right. So the winner, my calculations are right. Parky. Nearer.
Is it?
Yeah. 409 appearances. Come on, Dixon.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's that. I'll settle for that.
Yep. So Parky wins the first Christmas face off. How'd you feel? How'd you feel, Parky?
Yeah, top of the world. Yeah, it's just made me Christmas. That's that's it. No, a bit of fun, isn't it? All right. Quite surprised. That, like Paul said, them guess the benches are virtually impossible. Yeah, because the thing is, you generally know your set team from each year, or the be our player moved about. But when it comes to the bench, I mean, we have had some dross. We really have people who you would rather forget than actually, you remember him, you'd be embarrassed. But so you get him, and you're thinking, well, was that year or that year? Because we had him on loan. Do you remember him? And but it is tough to do. But no, good fun here. Enjoyed it.
Yeah. Before we go, I just want to say, Merry Christmas to our listeners. Big thanks for listening to us all this year, and we've now achieved record listening figures, over 130,000 listens and downloads this year, which is fantastic. So we can't do that without you. I think Parky fainted there. Parky, is that right? He fell over then.
He fell off your ladder there.
Fell off his ladder, climbing into his climbing down the chimney.
Yeah.
So I can't thank you enough for that.
Just
to tuning in every week, listening to us, talk Salford Red Devils. It's amazing. I thank you two guys for coming on every week and giving our listeners great content every week. I thank everyone at the club who comes on and give us great chats, and it's been a real pleasure this year, sort of engaging with you and allowing us access for great content. So I'm sort of wish you all a Merry Christmas. Big thanks for joining us. Parky, anything you want to add?
No, just want to say, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic time. Stay safe, but enjoy yourselves. All the best to every Salford fan out there, and anyone else who listens in rugby league world. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great time, and I can't wait to see you all in the new year.
Yeah, and we'll leave the final word to everyone's favourite, Paul Whiteside.
No, yeah. Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you too as well. Take care of yourselves and that, and everybody who listens and that, enjoy yourselves, and look forward to doing it all again in 2023. Can't wait. So roll on the friendly games and that. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, big thanks for joining us on the Devil in the Detail podcast. Don't forget you can donate, buy me, Parky and Paul a coffee for Christmas. Helps us subsidise the podcast with the programmes and the equipment, and helps us create better content for you to enjoy. So big thanks for joining us on the Devil in the Detail podcast. I'm Rob Parkinson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil in the Detail SRD. You can find us on Twitter at DITDSRD. And you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify and YouTube. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you soon for more Salford Red Devils chat.